Welcome to Minutes of Ministry. Today I want to talk to you about the fact, can Christians have fun? Well, first of all, let me say, yes, Christians can have fun, a lot of fun. In fact, unfortunately, I know what it is to live like a person that's not a Christian, and I can assure you, the fun that I thought I was having, living the life that was not pleasing to the Lord, there's no comparison to the fun and the joy of living for the Lord and living the life of a Christian. I heard it said one time that even if there was no heaven, which there is, that the Christian life is still the best life because of all the wonderful things here. But not only is it the best life here, but we do know that because of Jesus Christ and His price for our sin, that we also have heaven awaiting. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about this. A lot of people think that God is the global killjoy, and that could not be any further from the truth. Yes, God says no to many things. He says, thou shalt not do this and thou shalt not do that. But you got to understand, God is saying no to things and thou shalt not do this or that so that you can be free and ready to say yes to things that are much better. What the Lord has in store for us is always better. The fact of the matter is, if we had enough sense to choose the better things, we would choose what God has already chose for us. And that's why it's imperative that we allow Him to do the choosing. And by the way, if we leave the choice to Him, He always gives the best. There's no question about it. You know, in Hebrews, we see the prerequisites for running a race. It tells us there in Hebrews to lay aside the sin which so easily besets us. And I think about running, I think, well, you've got to be in pretty good health to run. And to stay healthy so that you can run the race as a Christian is very important. And what I mean by that is to stay healthy, we have to say no to some things. We have to say no to things that are not good for us and things that would be sinful. I know this is easier said than done because sin is attractive. It is fun. If it wasn't, people would never engage in it. But they do, and we all have been there. I know as a parent and as a teacher and a preacher, pastor, it would be easy for me to pick out the negative. And you know, there are times, obviously, we have to do that. We have to pick out and see things and address it. But at the same time, are we quick to point out what's right? And if you're trying to help somebody, especially a young person, let's be quick to point out what's right. Let's compliment them. Let's have some balance with that, and especially if you want them to understand how you've come to the place to realize, hey, God does say no to many things, but He says yes to the things that are better. How do you say no to these weights or the sin that's so besetting, the things that hinder you? Well, you must practice the law of replacement. The Lord gave me this thought many years ago about the law of replacement. I've said it for many times. If you want to give up something that is sin or harmful, not the best thing, you're going to have to replace it with something that's good, something that's helpful. Sometimes it's not something necessarily sinful, but it may not be the best thing. And that's why we ought to be ready to accept what God gives, because He will give the best to those who leave the choice to Him. In my own life, there were many things that had to be cut out of my life. There were things that were not good, not healthy as a Christian, that I had to get rid of those things. And with God's help, was able to do that. Look, if you're struggling with something that keeps you down, holds you in bondage, there's some lust of the flesh that you're dealing with and trying to win the battle, just like the Bible says, be not drunk with wine, but be filled with the Spirit. So here you have a replacement. You replace the carnal flesh with following the Spirit of God. How about Jesus? He replaced His will with the Father's will. He told the Father, not my will, but thine be done. Jonah, he replaced his will with the Father's. The disciples, they replaced their will with the Father. Hey, look at Paul. He was no longer destroying the church, but he was helping to build the church. Just remember this in closing. God has so many wonderful things for His children. Don't miss them. Don't miss God's very best for your life, and you'll never regret that. And I hope these few minutes here, minutes of ministry, will be used to encourage you and help you along the way. And may God bless you. And please remember to pray for the ministries at Troy Baptist Church. Have a wonderful week.